Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's have a look on DMZ and my take on it. I played about 220 hours in this game now. Released on November 16th, Warzone 2.0. And you sort of come into this menu and you have shootouts, which is the multiplayer maps. That is if you have Modern Warfare, the game itself. Which I don't. I didn't buy it this year. The last COD game that I bought was in 2 years ago, I think. The Black Ops Cold War. Last year it was Vanguard. The theme of World War II didn't interest me that much, so I didn't buy it. If I do buy the COD game, I usually buy it for the campaign. And this year I watched Hot Sea and Air Wing Marine and Triple G playing through this campaign on Twitch. And I sort of saw it already by the time they were finished. And that means, like, I thought, like, yeah, why should I buy it? I already saw the whole campaign. And it's the only reason I would buy it, because I don't like the multiplayer. I'm not a fan of run to A and then defend B and go back to A and run to C, and I don't like that kind of gameplay. I'm more of a open world, big maps, instead of these small maps. That's not my style. 3v3 or 5v5 or whatever it is. You have the Battle Royale. That is one of the two next to the DMZ, which was released on November 16th. If you click on Battle Royale, at this moment we have quads, duos, unhinged, BR, whatever that is, trios, and then on the next page you have solos. I'm guessing they don't want you to play solo, that's why they put it on the next page. They could have made this icon a little bit smaller and fit it in on one page, but it is what it is. So nothing spectacular there yet. At some point the trios was third person, I think, playlist. The playlist changed before the weekend or every week on Tuesday, like in Warzone 1, I'm not sure. Battle Royale, I played one game the first day to check out the graphic settings and the sensitivity settings and such, and that was it. Other than that, we are playing DMZ. So I have 220 hours in this game, and pretty much 200 hours of DMZ that we played. Demilitarized Zone. And what it is, this is sort of like the Battle Royale. In the Battle Royale you have a maximum of 152 players, I believe. Only players. In the strongholds you have a few AIs, but that's about it. In this game you have 22 teams of 3, because as you can see I have the squad fill off here, but if you put it on you play in trios. It's a trio mode at this moment in time. Although there are many people playing it duo and solo. Solo mode would be not a bad thing for this, I think. Solo mode also makes it more challenging. Some people like to compare it with Tarkov. Get that out of the way from the beginning. If this is compared to Tarkov, then it is a light or even a super light Tarkov. But that might appeal to some people, specifically the more casual player who finds Tarkov way too hardcore or way too hard to learn, because there are not really tutorials in Tarkov. In this game you go in, you open the map, and you can see where you are and all that stuff. In Tarkov there is no map. You have to learn everything by yourself. That's already a big advantage over here, that you have a mini map. So it appeals more to the casual player. Although there are many things wrong with it as well. Other than that, you have these missions, the faction missions. At the moment there are 3 factions, the Legion, White Lotus and Black Mouse. I'm thinking and also hoping that they will come up with more factions. These guys, they have missions. Legion, I think the first ones are like 3 or 4 missions you have to do, and then in tier 1, and then you can unlock tier 2. Then you play, you get 6 missions over here, plus 1 which is locked. And from those 6 missions, you have to play 5 to unlock the last one. And then once you play that last one, you can unlock the next tier. So it goes from tier 1, tier 2, we are now here in tier 3, White Lotus, we're also tier 3 at the moment, and Black Mouse, we are in tier 2. We're taking our time, we're not flying through this, because in total there are 5 tiers for the 3 factions. In total about 102 missions, I believe. And yeah, In a way, this is the point of the game. You do these missions, you go in, there are a bunch of AI, 22 teams of maximum 3 players, so 66 players plus a bunch of AI on that map. And you try to do your missions. You can mess around with the AI, you can try to hunt down other players, that's all up to you. But the point of the whole thing is try to do some missions. You also want to do these missions because they are sort of functioning as a tutorial. They tell you where certain places are. They will learn you how to work with certain equipment like tactical camera or the recon drone or things like that. So they're pretty much tutorials, and they're also a goal. That doesn't mean, like here for instance, we have custom hardware. We need to deliver some game consoles to a dead drop container. That sort of gives you the location of that dead drop container. You learn where those things are and so on. So it's quite... I always find it okay if you have something to do in the game. And with these missions you have goals. But I also realized very quickly, if we're gonna grind through this like we would normally, pretty hardcore and pretty grindy and pretty fast, you fly through these 100 missions, then there's nothing to play anymore. And that's what I think many have done already. They flew through these missions, although obviously tier 1 is easy and tier 5 are pretty hard and tedious at times and very grindy. But you can work if you're familiar with questing and such, you can work through you, especially with a team. Solo, it all becomes a bit more challenging because obviously you're up against other teams of 3. That already makes it challenging, and also you have to deal with all the AIs, and there are many AIs, and they are pretty harsh at times, but they're also pretty predictable. One of the main things is weapons, of course, and that is the first problem that I have with this game. 220 hours in, we are grinding through these weapons, trying to upgrade them, and you can't use them. You can use your gun once every 2 hours, and that is if you die. If you extract every time, because it is an extraction mode, so you have to extract from the map, you have to take a exfil helicopter out. If you don't take it, you will die. If you die, you lose everything. That's sort of the only comparison that it has with Tarkov, I guess. So if you click on weapons, then you sort of have your loadout. You have some armor plates, 1 plate vest. That is, at this moment in time, it's a plate simulator, which is probably one of the main problems that I have with this game. You are constantly in fight with plates. Either you're putting them on, you're losing them, you're looking for them, you never have enough plates. It's getting ridiculous. And for me, my personal opinion, get rid of these plates. Give us a vest with, let's say, 100% durability at the start, and every time you get hit, you lose 5% or something, which means that over time your vest will go worse and worse and worse, and you're gonna have to find a new vest to get 100% vest again. Now you go in with a vest with 1 plate, an AI shoots you 1 time, plate is gone. You have to put on a plate. Just like in Warzone 1, you can still not put on plates when you're running. So you're like running in the middle of the field, you have no plates, you need to put on a plate. Your character stops running in the middle of the road, you're getting shot from 6 different angles by AI, and you're like, hey guys, wait a second, let me stop here to put on a plate, because you can't do it while running. And then with that 1 plate you go down. If you play it solo, a 3-plate vest and a self-revive are almost a must. That should be your priority. Whatever you're trying to do, a contract, a mission, whatever, first look for a 3-plate vest. Get 1 or 2 self-revives, because otherwise you're never gonna make it out of that thing. The AI, especially if you go loud. What do I mean by that? There's a big difference playing this game with a suppressed weapon or with a non-suppressed weapon. With a suppressed weapon, they actually work as they intend to work, especially in real life. And so you play suppressed, people don't hear you, and that is sort of also the same thing with the AI. If you have a suppressed gun and you shoot one, then the other 2-3 that are standing around, they will think like, oh, our mate is down, but then they're looking around like idiots. They don't know where you're shooting from. If you don't have a suppressed gun, they immediately know where you are. They all 3-4 look at you and start beaming you. So there's a huge difference dealing with the AI with a suppressed or with a non-suppressed weapon. Huge difference. Which brings us to the second problem of this game. You will now have to select a weapon, and then you have a contraband stash with 10 slots. If you bought the $80 game, then you have 20 slots. DMZ and Warzone is free to play, but the Modern Warfare is not. That game costs $80, campaign multiplayer thing. Then you have 20 slots. So yeah, if you want to have more contraband weapons, you can buy an $80 game if you want. And then you have the insured slot, and this is the only gun. This is sort of like Warzone Battle Royale in a way. That's your loadout in a way, but not with 2 guns and perks, and no, just 1 gun. And then whatever you have in here, you can go into gunsmith, and you can actually put parts on there. Once you have the thing maxed out, like in this case I have a sniper here, level 20 out of 20. The gun is now maxed out. That doesn't mean you have all the attachments, because they came up with some sort of, which you can see here, a weapon tree in a way for this family, a family tree. So if you click on that, then you will see a couple of guns. And that means that if you want to get all the attachments for this specific gun, although my gun is maxed out, I'm gonna have to max out this gun, the LAB, the SAB-50, the SPR-208. I'm gonna have to play with these 4 guns to unlock all my attachments for this gun. Next to that, you might have to play with some other guns, for instance, also things which do not make sense in my opinion. If I want to get a variable zoom scope for this sniper, for instance, which I have now, then you can sort of see the attachments, what you have on. You can sort of see what you need to get or whatever. But for instance, this variable zoom scope, I had to play with a shotgun, get that shotgun to level 7 to unlock this scope for my sniper. Shotgun and a sniper, they're not really connected, so yeah, I don't know. I guess the point behind that is that they want people to play with all kind of guns, but it's a bit of a weird system. Warzone 1 was better. You just played with this gun for 30, 40 levels and you had all the attachments unlocked. Assault rifles were 60 or 70 levels you had to play with to get all the attachments unlocked. Now you have to play, in this case, with 4 guns. In case of the assault rifles, you have to play with, I think, 5 guns. Max them out to get all the attachments, and then on top, for certain attachments, you need to play with a few other guns as well. So yeah, you can just click on these scopes here. Some of them are family related, but others, I still have a few locked here. Yeah, here we have it the same. We have a Bandera scope here, and I need to play with the Lockwood Mark II to level 7. So I need to get, again, one of the shotguns to level 7 to get this scope on my sniper. Why are snipers and shotguns related? I have no idea. But that's the weird system that they have going here at the moment. Once you have your gun maxed out, you can also, as you can see here, you have tune. All of these parts here, except for ammunition and magazines, I believe, but all the other parts you can sort of tune. So you put on if you click on the scopes, you can see the bars here, damage range and all, whatever difference there is. And then once you have that thing on, then you can also fine tune it a little bit. If you click on tune, then you get, you see we have from this specific stock, we have a bit more accuracy compared to all the other things on the, and then you can play around with that. If you want a bit more mobility, you can put that slider to there, then you see that goes more to mobility, but then you lose a bit of accuracy. So you can play around to that sort of. I try to get these things around the circle here, the middle circle, and then one which is sort of peeking out, and the same for aim walking speed and aim downside. If I put it here, then you're going to get more handling. If I go to there, I'm going to get more accuracy, but then I'm going to lose some handling. So you sort of try to find that point where you think like, okay, I get a bit of everything and then one specific thing. This is now for accuracy for the stock. But if you do it for the barrel, you have the same thing, but then it points more towards handling. And then you can play around with these sliders as well. This fine tuning, or whatever you want to call it, it's only available when you have a gun maxed out. If this is only 16 of 20, you will not have the tuning available. That's sort of how that works. And then you have it gunsmithed, and then you can equip it. and then you have it in your primary slot. So it's just one gun. Secondary, you can put on a secondary if you have some contraband weapons, which are weapons you found on the game from AI or from another player or in a weapon crate, and you extract with it, it goes into your contraband stash. Whatever you have here sitting in here, usually a bunch of crap from the AI, they usually have no attachments or 1 or 2 attachments. Very often you're shooting with iron sight, pixels 100 meters away, so you want some scopes on it, but you can't. Whatever is sitting in here, in this case nothing in my case, but when you play a few games you will have some weapons sitting in here, you can't gunsmith them. So the only thing you can gunsmith is your own weapon over there, which is a bit of a problem. If you play that game, let's say we take the sniper and we go in and we extract with it, fine, then I still have it, I can still play. If I die with it, then I lose the gun or the insured slot for 2 hours, which means I can't play with my own gun, and that's a huge problem for me. Personally, if I'm spending 200 hours in a game leveling up all these weapons, I want to play with these weapons and not being restricted for 2 hours playing with some crap guns with iron sight and not be able to use my own weapon. Of course, if you play with a team, you're gonna get more chance on extracting than when you play solo and all that kind of stuff, but I find it a stupid system. This is sort of replacing, in a way, the plunder mode from Warzone 1, but in plunder, you had your loadout, you put a loadout together and you went in and that was it. You were using your own guns the whole time. Here in DMZ, you can't. Now, you can reduce, let's say, I go in with this gun and I die, so I lose my sniper for 2 hours, or any other gun. I'm losing my insured slot over here for 2 hours. So if I die with it, there will be a timer here, 120 minutes, and it will start counting down. You can reduce that time by going into a game and extracting with some money. The multiplier is 1.5, I think, if you extract, which means that if you extract with 10k, 10,000, you will get 15 minutes reduction on that slot. There are also containers, the so-called dead drop containers. There are 6 of them, I believe, on the map. They're grey containers in which you can dump money. They're like grey dumpsters. Then the multiplier is 2. So if you dump 10,000 in that container, you will actually reduce the time with 20 minutes. So it's better to drop money in the containers than actually extract with money, which is also something that people haven't figured out yet. But so if you extract with 30,000, you will be reducing the time with 1 hour if you put the money in the containers. If you extract with it in the helicopter, then you're only going to get 45 minutes of reduction. So it's better to drop. So in theory, if you go in a game which usually lasts 20-25 minutes, then you need to reduce your time 100 minutes to constantly get that slot at 0, which means you have to drop 50,000 in the container. And then when you come back out, the next game you will have your insured slot available again. That's one way of doing it, but you will at least have to play 1 or 2 games to get that insured time back to 0. Don't like this at all. Personally, I find it a stupid system. Just give us our own weapons. We spend enough timers to grind and level up these weapons that we should be able to use them. Because now you get this situation, you run into a team, you play solo, and you run into a team of 3 players. They're all running around with their own guns, completely modded. They have 3-plate vests. You're already in a situation where you're 1v3 and you have a gun with an iron sight with a 20-round magazine. And you're up against 3 players. How are you supposed to survive that? You can, of course, if you flank and maneuver and then are pretty okay or decent in the game, you can take down a trio, especially if they're not that good at the game. But in general, let's say equal skills for all the players, then you're never going to win that fight. You have a gun from the AI with a 20-round mag. You're up against 3 players with modded weapons. That's bye-bye. Which means you have to come back, you lost everything again, and you have to go back in with contraband crap. No, I think one of the things they should do is come up with some sort of system that you can use your own guns. That you at least have a chance against other players. especially if they're in a group and you're playing solo. And also there is enough AI on that map to justify your own loadout. There are hundreds of AI that keep spawning back and forth and center behind you. It's one of the main things is that I would like to see changed, is that we actually can use our own weapons instead of this 2-hour in short slot crap. This is for one slot. If you do the faction missions over here, that's the list of the missions we talked about earlier. If you do those tier 3, if you complete tier 3 of all the factions, Legion, White Lotus and Black Mouse, then you also get a second in short slot, which means you can have a secondary gun. The third slot, I'm not sure what that actually is. Is that a side weapon, or can you actually put a third weapon in there? If you have a backpack, maybe, then you can run around with 3 guns, because your backpack also has a weapon slot if it's medium or large. The small backpack does not have a weapon slot, but here it says complete tier 5 of any faction. I believe that's also not true. I believe it, just like this one, it has to be every faction. Which also means that I don't think there are anybody around there who has in short slot 3 unlocked, for the simple reason some of the missions are bugged. So we have these missions, Legion tier 1 up to 5, White Lotus tier 1 up to tier 5 and Black Mouse. I believe there is a bug. We are only in tier 3 here, working on it. Once we have this unlocked, we will get to tier 4 missions. And then that last mission, which unlocks the next tier always, I believe that one is bugged. So White Lotus tier 4, that last one is a little bit bugged, which means that people can't do the White Lotus tier 5 at this moment, which also means they do not have that last slot available. Some people manage to make it work, some reason or another. We'll see. Tomorrow there is a mid-season update. Hopefully they have fixed some of these things. The missions, tier 1, yeah, most of them you can do solo. They're very often, yeah, that's also something, I can't show you that at the moment, because in Legion we are in tier 3. If I click on show previous tier missions, it's only going to show me one, which is the tier 1 completed and the tier 3 completed. So that's like that lock, which the one that unlocks the next tier. Those are the only 2 that you will be able to see. So Storm the Stronghold was to go from tier 1 to tier 2, and Frame Job was the one to go from tier 2 to tier 3. All the rest of the missions that you did, you can't get to them. So yeah, also a bug, I'm assuming. Normally you should be able to get the list from all the missions. It's quite buggy, this DMZ mode, but it's quite fun. Way more fun than Battle Royale, for instance. Although there are 66 players, it's not means you're going to run constantly into players. It's not like, in that way, it's not like Battle Royale. You're more dealing with AI in 80, depends a bit on the time you play, but sometimes it's 70, especially in the weekend or during the evening. 70% of the time you're going to run into AI, 30% into players. If it's more quiet in the morning or during the week, on some hours where people are at work or at school, then it's probably 80, 85, maybe even 90% you're going to play with AI, and the rest is players that you might see, might not see. People are doing sometimes specific things, which means if you're just chilling on the outside of the map doing your mission or whatever, you might not even run into them. Most people are going for the boss, for the Juggernaut, for the Chemist, whatever. So that's where they're hanging out, and then you don't see them on the rest of the map, which makes it a bit more relaxed. It's not as sweaty as Battle Royale. Sometimes you meet up another team with the ping wheel. You can do a out request to join. So you also have some friendly in-game voice sometimes. Mostly not, because you know it's Call of Duty, pretty toxic, salty community, especially if they die. They have a lot to say over the voice chat and proximity chat. But yeah, that always has been like that, you know. So it is something that you can play on the site, and for me, 3,000 hours in Tarkov, it came at a perfect time actually, because in Tarkov it was sort of the end of the wipe. We have a new wipe coming one of the next days or weeks in Tarkov, so it was the end of the wipe in Tarkov. I played 4 wipes, 3,000 hours in that game, so pretty much know what I'm doing there. Not that I'm good at it, but at least I know what I'm doing there. And I know the maps and I know the extractions and all that kind of stuff. And the ground stashes, every single one of them. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about. And in this game, seeing it was End of Wipe in Tarkov, this one being released on November 16th, that was perfect. Perfect timing to play something. It's a bit more casual. I'm also playing with people that found Tarkov a bit too hard. Although they have the game, they hardly ever played it because it was too hard, too much to learn. You had to go too deep into it to actually understand what was going on, because that is Tarkov for you. You probably have to play a wipe 5-6 months to even understand what is going on and to learn maps and all that kind of stuff. So and then when you go into the second wipe where everybody goes back to level 1, then you sort of know what's going on, and then you can start playing for real in a way. So you probably need a wipe to understand what's going on, and then that is a great game. In a way, from extraction shooters, yeah, it's probably the number one at this moment. But it's pretty hardcore, so for the more casual player, something like this might actually work. But we have these missions, and that's all fine, but my problem with these missions is that once you've done them, this game mode is in a way over, because you've done the 100 missions, then you have no more goals. You can go in the map and do some contracts, you can hunt some people, but yeah, then you're doing contracts and you're shooting other players. That pretty much sounds like Battle Royale. Then you can as well play Battle Royale. The difference with this is that you have a bunch of AIs and you have these missions, but if the missions are done, yeah, then there's no much more to do. So we can only hope that, probably not with tomorrow's update mid-season, but beginning of next season, season 2, there are already some rumors that there will be a new map. So if they're going to change maps, then they might also bring new factions, which means new missions, and then it can keep going. If they don't bring new factions and new missions, yeah, then this game mode is going to die out very quickly. Because it's one of the reasons you play this is to do the missions and have some fun with your friends. And a lot of these missions are also team progression, so that means that for instance here, deliver 20 light bulbs to a certain dead drop container. If I drop 4 and I'm playing with a teammate who drops 5, and yeah, then we have 9 here, and not just my 4. It will count for both of you. The same with kills. You can down a guy, and then you're not finish him, just down him, and your teammate finishes him off. Then you actually get 2 kills. So it counts for both of you. It counts the fact that you downed him, and it counts the fact that your teammate killed him, and both of you will get 2 kills on that mission. So if you have a mission where you need to kill 30 players, you only actually, if you do it with a teammate, you only have to kill 15. One of those things. So it's a bit team based, but for me as a more hardcore player, coming from Tarkov, playing in a trio, you extract very often. It's you can deal with the AI, you can even deal with other teams. If you know what you're doing, you extract a lot. It makes it a bit, for a Tarkov player, probably a bit too easy. So it's better to play this in duo or in trio. You can play it if you want, but it's better to play it just in duo or even solo. So that's why we put this off. I can just deploy now when I play solo, or in case one teammate shows up, then we just team up. We still leave this off, and then we play with the 2 of us. That makes it more challenging. That makes it a bit more, for a hardcore player as from Tarkov, it probably makes it a bit more enjoyable. Which is also something that I see happening out there on Twitch, on streams, or videos on YouTube. A lot of people are playing actually this mode solo. Which maybe means that there are so many playing it solo that it might actually not be a bad thing that they just make this a solo mode for it instead of only trios. But I don't know, we will see. We have a battle pass. In Warzone 1 you had some sort of bar on the bottom of your screen which went from 1 to 100. And then you had to go through levels. This time they did a little bit different, but it comes down to the same thing. You have these zones here on a map structure that they put it here, or some sort of map picture with all these different zones. So let's take zone A1 here. You have 4 little things that you need to redeem, and once you have those 4, then you can get the orbiter blueprint, which is your 5th one. So you have 20 zones of 5, in other words 100 levels, just like it was in Warzone 1. So you play through that, but you can select to go. Like you say, you start at A0 and then you go up to A1, so that's sort of forced. But then you can do whatever you want. If you say like, oh, I want to get this sniper, then you can sort of work your way up through these zones to get to it. Or if you say like, no, I want this blueprint, then you can sort of go first this way. It's your own choice how you go. And then you eventually you need to fill up the whole map. And if you reach the whole map, then you get this as your bonus, which is an operator, an M4 blueprint, and 300 cut points. The battle pass itself is an initial. If you don't have any cut points, if you're not familiar with the game, you can go to the store and you can buy somewhere in here, don't even know where, but probably on the bottom or something. You can buy cut point bundles. And the battle pass is 1100 cut points. Those are those little thingies here. I have 2500 here at the moment. And that pretty much comes down to $9.99 or $10 for 1100 cut points. So that's an initial investment of $10 that you do. The game itself is free to play, so that's not an issue. So it costs you $10. You buy this battle pass for 1100 cut points, which you bought in the store with your $10. And then you play through this, and in several of these zones you will find 100 points there, 200 points there. You will get 1100 back, and then if you complete it, if you play through it and you complete it, you get 300 cut points extra. So you did an investment of 1100 cut points and you will get 1400 back if you play through it. Which means you have more than enough for next season battle pass, which will also be 1100. So you buy that and then you still have 300 left. And then next season it will be the same. You play through it, you win some operators, some blueprints, some guns in other words, with certain attachments unlocked. Especially if you don't have them unlocked yet, you have sort of early access to those attachments in a way. That's what these blueprints are. The guns themselves you can unlock and you can upgrade it by playing with them. But here you get like, we haven't played with this MP7 thing here yet. Then you get, as you can see, you get a scope and a suppressor, in which you might not have unlocked for that gun, but with this blueprint you have access to it in a way. That's sort of what the battle pass is. It's more about skins and operators and vanity than anything else, but you get a few blueprints from it. That's the way COD works, right? So, and then you have 1400 points ready to go for the season. Runs another 50 days, but of course we played already 200 hours, so we have this thing completed already. If you don't buy the battle pass, then there are 1 or 2, this one I think, yeah, this one is free, and then somewhere in there is another one which was free. So there are 2 free guns in there. If you don't buy the battle pass, and there might be some other free stuff in there, sticker or a charm or something. But for all the other things that are in there, you have to buy it, obviously. That, yeah, works like any other battle pass in another game. But it's a $10 investment the first season, and so when the 50 days are over, which I think is February 1st, then it will be season 2, and then we have 1400 sitting ready to go. In my case 2500, because I clicked the damn thing twice and I actually bought 2 packages of 1100 cut points. That's why I have 2500 and not 1400. So we'll see. Hopefully they bring new factions, they bring new missions, and then this thing is a casual way of playing through an extract shooter in a way. I just hope that they change a few things. At the moment it's quite buggy. Give you one example. It's not only buggy, but it's also White Lotus, for instance, Medical Mule. It tells you to drop 20 stims and some chocolate bars or something in a dead drop northeast of the cemetery. If you go to that container, you dump stuff in there, that doesn't work. Then you have here, over here, you have custom hardware where it says you have to go to the dead drop container north of the cemetery. If you go there for this contract, it will not work. And that is because little mistakes like that have sort of moved themselves into it. And yeah, you can already guess it. It's the other way around. So the medical mule, White Lotus medical mule, it's not the dumpster northeast, it's actually the dumpster north on the shopping mall on Sayed City. And custom hardware, where it says north of the cemetery, is actually the one northeast of the cemetery. So they switched those two around, and little mistakes like that have managed to get into the game. And yeah, that's a bit of a problem, obviously, because if you don't search for the solution for this, you're gonna get stuck on this. You go to that dumpster and you think like, oh, it's bugged, it's not working. It is working, it just, the description of the thing is wrong here. This needs to be the northeast one for custom hardware, which is Black Mouse level 2, I think. And Medical Mule is White Lotus level 3. And there it needs to be north instead of northeast. So it's a different container, basically, where you have to drop it. And then there are some other missions where yeah, you might have to Google for the solution, because there are some issues here and there. Other than that, I think most of the missions worked. Let's just quickly deploy to give you an idea what's going on. The AIs, let's talk about those. They are quite annoying, I can tell you that. You sort of have the, yeah, what I call the four fools. They're usually running around on a gas station, and that's a bald guy who has a shotgun. You have a guy with an orange bandana who has always something with fire, a Molotov cocktail or a thermite. You have the guy with the blue bandana who's always throwing grenades of all sorts at you. And then you have the normal guy who doesn't do anything except for shooting. He has an RPK, I believe. And then there is usually one guy on the roof of a building or a gas station. And those are the white hoodie boys. And you have a normal one, white gray hoodie. That's actually, if you compare it to Tarkov, that's sort of the sniper scav. I think he's also running dead silence, because even if he's running in front of you, you do not hear him. So I think he runs dead silence, and he's sort of the stealth sniper, I guess. He usually runs around with an LMS with a scope on it, which is a DMR rifle. Or you have the guy with the white gray hoodie and some sort of red necklace or whatever he has, and he has a rocket launcher. So those are quite dangerous guys. That's like the level 1 AI, the four fools and the guys on the roof. And then you have the level 2 AI. They have a helmet which you usually have to break before you get them down. And then you have the level 3 AIs, which are a bit more heavy boys, in a way. They have probably a 3-plate vest. You have to break their helmet and then shoot again, even with a sniper. First break their helmet and then shoot them in the head. Some of the snipers do take them down one shot, but most of them you need 2 shots, even with a sniper.
Welcome to Al Mazrah. Explore, secure intel, and loot to gain access to new missions.
You spawn in, and then
Contact.
it gives you an overview again of the missions that you are doing. You can always open your map. Also, if you play in a team, you can open your map and you press V or whatever you have. I have squad missions on Y, so for me it's Y. And then it shows you my missions. If you play with a team of duo, it will also show you the missions of your teammate, and it will also show you the missions of your third teammate in case you play in a trio. So then you have a screen, then you can see, for instance, if you join up with the randoms, then you can see what these people are doing, and you can sort of help each other out mission-wise. But then we have the annoying point of spawns, like for instance here, I can look there. I didn't look there from the beginning when we spawned in, but right there, on that little hill there, is another spawn. There they are. That's a player. So that is something you need to take in consideration from the moment you spawn in. 200 meters on your left, 200 meters on your right, there's another player spawning in. Which also means that over there somewhere is another player that has spawned in. Now if you zoom in there, what you will see, it is a beta, or they call it a beta. They're not really running, they're sort of floating over. It's pretty hard to get your shot going 200 meters because they're floating from in distance. Now I already know this spawn, there's probably 2 over here and then 2 AIs over there. Let's see if I can get a hang on. Yeah, there. This guy is sort of the one that has a RPK or an AK-74U. Well, it was that guy. There's probably another one. He saw me now because he was looking at my direction. But seeing we are shooting suppressed, the rest will not immediately notice us, except for these guys here. But this is what I mean. Once they see you, they start shooting you immediately. And you start with a vest with one plate. So the plate simulation starts. Here we go. We put on one plate. And now we need to figure out where this guy is for a second. Disappeared. So you think like, okay, this guy, although he was shooting at me, he now disappeared. No, they do not disappear. They might despawn and then spawn again or something like that. There's some weird stuff going on from time to time. That's the blue bandana guy I was talking about earlier. So he is the one that has the grenades normally, but I sniped him before he got me. This guy, although we are, and this is what I mean, we are playing suppressed, this guy has no idea what's going on. He didn't hear that shot. Although we were right behind him, he didn't hear our shot because we are suppressed. If you shoot here with a non-suppressed, these 4 guys will attack you at the same time. Which means you might already lose all your plays that you have. Big difference shooting non-suppressed or with a suppressor. Which is of course a problem, as I mentioned before with that in-short slotting. I'm using my own gun now at the moment, so I'm using my in-short slot gun. If we die here, if we get sniped by a player, or something in that order, then we are stuck for 2 hours and we have to play with loud weapons, basically.
Ultra One, completing contracts earns you cash to use at buy stations for gear and upgrades.
Let's see if we can find something here. Don't immediately see anything, but it doesn't mean anything. See what I mean? Did you see that guy there? The orange bandana guy. That's the guy who has... You can loot him if you want. That guy has Molotov cocktails. Always. Or termite. Always something with fire. And the rest does not move now. And that's just the reason is because I play with a suppressed gun. If I have something loud here, hell would broke loose already. I should reset and come in with a loud gun that you can see the difference what I mean. If you're familiar with, if you played this already, you will know what I mean.
Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert.
Other than that, yeah, you have that voice at all points. Yeah, we have the reinforcement troops. Now you can run up there if you have some Semtex or something. You can throw a Semtex, then they're usually all dead. Don't know if we got them all with our Semtex, probably. And here's where it gets dangerous. Which brings us to the second, next to the plates. The second most annoying thing is audio in this game. I find it quite funny that they are nominated for a Game Award for audio. Now, sort of for the Oscars of the Game Awards. Now, if it would be for the Raspberries, I would say yeah, okay, I agree with that. But not for the Oscars though. Like now it's very quiet, nobody is shooting, you can hear voices behind me, I can hear footsteps behind me, no problem. From the moment a shot is fired somewhere or an explosion is happening, you don't hear any footsteps. There can be a guy right here, right behind me, I have no idea, do not hear him. Audio behind you is a fucking disaster. I don't know how they can get away with it, it's happening already 3 years or whatever in Warzone. People were complaining about it, this is the sequel of Warzone, Warzone 2.0. Same problem. They sort of copied the audio design, I guess. But somehow or another they get away with that every time. Because the kids keep buying bundles. If kids would stop buying bundles and say like, hey, we are not gonna buy your bundles anymore till you fix audio and things like that. Some other things as well, of course, not only audio, but of course it's not gonna happen, you know, because that's why they get away with it. Because the casual kids, oh, look at that nice looking skin, and they buy the bundle anyway. And that's why they get away with it all the time. Trying to figure out what's going on here. Something was shooting at us. There they are, you know. The Molotov guy, the grenade guy, and then the normal guy. The bald guy. The bald guy is the one with the shotgun. And so you're looking at those four guys, right? And then you have some other guy who is behind the bush, which you do not see. Which brings us to the next problem, the plates. So now we are dead. Because of course, we have no self-revive or anything, we just came into the game. It takes them now half an hour to actually finish us. Although they can beam you down with one shot though. And that's why this is a plate simulator. We lost it pretty long now, I was expected to go down quicker. To be honest. And that's because we had a suppressed gun. Because you drop in with a plate with one vest and you have two spare vests. The first shot that we missed there up on the hill behind us, that already lost our first plate. And it always goes like this. You lose your plates, you are out of plates, you're looking for plates. You can buy plates on the station for only 250 bucks, that's not a problem. But you get the idea. So, back to weapons, let's make a new loadout. Oh, we don't have any loadout. We don't have any contraband weapons, and now here we go. We are 120 minutes stuck and we cannot use our own gun. That's the biggest issue that I have with this game. It's ridiculous. Spent 200 hours in it upgrading my guns, I can't use them. So now you have two options. You either go in with nothing, or you say like, okay, give me a free loadout. The tactical, also something which does not save, so you always have to put in tactical, lethal, field upgrade. Obviously you're gonna take ammo box because that's the other thing. Even if you shoot these idiots out there with a headshot, very often they are not dropping ammo and they are not dropping plates. You have a bigger chance of getting a plate if you shoot them with a headshot, but they're not dropping many plates. That's why it's a plate simulator, and that's why you're constantly on the search for plates or for buy stations so you can buy plates. And there are not that many. That's the other problem. There are like 5 shops or something on that whole map, and it varies. It's always on another place, but every game is different. So now let's go in. Go again quickly. That's why I kept it so short. That the game itself takes 25 minutes. There is a circle in the middle, which is the gas. That thing does not move for 25 minutes. There are 3 extractions on the map. I will show you in a second. And so you can already sort of look on the map, where is the gas? Where are the 2 closest extractions? If you go out after 15 or 20 minutes, no problem. But if you go out closer to the 25 minutes, I would not go to those 2. Because they are going to be in the gas the first. Because after 25 minutes the gas starts expanding over the whole map. And that will take another 9-10 minutes probably. And then eventually that 3rd extraction, which is the farthest away from the gas, will also close down. And then a 4th extraction will open, which is the final one. Which means if you come to that point, you do not want to miss that helicopter, or you will be dying. You need to get to one of the 3 extractions, or last case scenario, you want to get to that final extraction. Otherwise, if you miss that last helicopter, then it's bye bye. And you will die, you will lose everything that you had. We're in a bit of a different scenario now. We do not have a suppressed gun. I don't even know what we got, to be honest. So we're gonna have to figure it out. That is, if the go wants to load in.
Welcome to Al Mazrah.
We're completely on the other side of the map now. Same scenario here. About 200 meters on our right, we have a extraction, another player. And then somewhere behind that hill there is also another one. Always keep that in mind. There is a team on your left, there is a team on your right. So it goes over the whole map. So now we are over here. The previous run we spawned in over here somewhere on the bottom. You have extraction sort of every 200 meters around the map, and then well, I say 200 meters, it can be 100 as well, I don't know. 2 clicks to the left, 2 clicks to the right, whatever you want. And there are a couple in the middle here, I think, but most of them are on the edge of the map. The only problem with that is that some of them see each other. If they have a sniper, like now I'm talking to you, I could be dead here already. If the guy on my left or on my right has a sniper, I might be dead on spawn. That's something they need to change. They can easily put you, make you a spawn behind that wall and the other guy in a house or something, so that you do not see each other. But yeah, they're still working on it. I already know now there will be some idiots over there. But yeah, now we have, let's see. We got the PA890, it's probably one of the worst pistols in the game, if not the worst. And we have an LMS, a DMR with 10 bullets, which shoots single fire, obviously. So we probably have the 2 worst loadout guns that I can get. The pistol, I think it's always the same. That's your secondary, you always get the same. And either you get an AKS, sometimes you get a an LMS, I mean. Sometimes you get an AK-74 and sometimes you get a shotgun. Here they are again. These are all normal guys. One of them has grenades, I think. Oh, they noticed me. You see what I mean? You see what the difference is? I shoot 2 down. There are 4 guys in front of me. There are 4 guys below me. They start spreading me. I don't have time to put on a plate because I'm fighting these idiots in front of me here. Game over. Of course I'm playing it obviously just to showcase something. The 25-30 minute map over in what, less than a minute? Because of the stupidity of the plate system that they have. The other option that you can do, of course, is see we still have no guns, of course. We still have 2 hours on that clock there for our own gun. We still need to put in these 3 things here because you cannot save your tactical equipment. It doesn't save anything for that matter, now that I think of it. I can't show you, but what I showed you earlier, these gunsmiths. You make that build custom, you put a suppressor on it, a hollow sight or a scope or whatever. It doesn't save it. It saves it as long as you are using that gun, but if you switch to something else, you're gonna get a stock gun. If you come back to the whatever you had, you get a stock gun again. You can't call a preset that you have, no, because you can't save presets. Game does not save presets. Which means you have to rebuild your gun every single time. So you better learn the parts that you have on by heart so that you know where they are and what you need to put on. Or you can go to YouTube and look for best build for this gun. I don't think you're gonna get much wiser because people are putting videos out every day with this is the best gun in Warzone. This is the best build for this gun, and it's always something different. So I wouldn't advise you to go just fiddle around with it with yourself and play with the way you want to play it. Now we're not gonna select this free weapon thing. What you could potentially do, you could potentially put in your lethal a throwing knife. Throwing knife is pretty deadly in such a way, especially with the level 1 AIs. If you aim right at their head, it's a one-shot head kill in a way. Although you're not shooting, you're throwing a knife, but then at least you could get 1 silent kill and pick up his gun, and then you're good to go. Because we haven't selected these 3 weapons, so we will get no weapons at all. Let's go in again. And then let me think what else we need to talk about. Yeah, the audio we talked about, the plate system. I hate it. In Warzone 1 it was not such a problem because first of all you dropped in with a vest with 2 plates. Now they gave us a vest with only 1 plate. Secondly, if you shot something in Warzone 1, everything dropped plates. So you didn't have that issue with plates. You found armor boxes left, back and center, not a problem. You can find them here now as well, but need to know where to look. Same with self-revives. You need to look in medical tents or hospitals. Unlike in Warzone 1 where they had like a big H on the map, no, nothing is marked, so you do not know where. You need to learn where the hospitals are, and the medical tents and ambulances can also have bathrooms in buildings, can have medical cabinets. That's where you can find things like stims and self-revive pistol. Self-revive pistol is a field upgrade, so make sure you equip it, because it does not work from your backpack. You can die with 3 self-revive pistols in your backpack, you go down, it's bye-bye, game over. It will not work if you do not have one equipped in your field upgrade. So the self-revive kit is to self-revive yourself way better. Of course, the benefit of a pistol is that you can shoot that pistol towards your teammate and you can actually revive him that way. Although you're not that close to him, you can shoot him from a distance, and if it hits him, he will revive.
Intel will open access to missions and targets. Expect resistance.
But if you play solo,
and watch for other operators
the self-revive kit is the better one, I think, because it automatically, whether it's in, if you open you have your backpack. In this case, we just dropped in with nothing, so we have a standard backpack. We, by the way, have exactly the same spawn. So you have 5 slots in here. A medium backpack, it's 8 slots, plus a gun slot, which you do not always see because it's another one of those things which is bugged. So you have your 2 guns, and then a medium or large backpack also have another weapon slot in the backpack, which you can bring out. Weapons is also the only thing you can bring out, because whatever else you have in that backpack when you extract, you will all lose it. For some reason or another, they convert it into XP and that's it. Money has no value in this game, except for buying your insured slot time. You can't buy anything. When you're playing, you can go to a buy station, you can buy some plates and an ammo box and that kind of stuff. That's okay, but if you extract with 30,000, it's not that you keep that 30,000. No, it just vanishes in thin air. This another thing. If you compare it to Tarkov, this game does not have an economy system. There is no traders, there is no market, there is no shop, whatever. You do not keep your money, you lose everything. Which makes it a little bit less interesting to actually loot or try to get some money, unless you need it for a mission or a contract. But other than that, you don't need money in this game. So why would you loot for the money? You know, they want to make it a looter shooter extraction version in a way, this mode. But yeah, then you need to have some things to actually make that playable, you know. There's no point in looting money if you can't buy anything or do anything with that money. But yeah, we'll see as we go. Season 2 might have changes. There are also a bunch of little items. Let's see if I can find some. Things like a wrench and electric tape, and they're not worth anything. So what you normally do is you loot a little bit. We'll see how far we get here, because we obviously have no lockers. It's one of the best things you can loot, because it very often, like here, a watch is 800 bucks. Okay, you can pick that up. Comic book for 100 bucks. Just leave it be. Personally, I only pick up whatever is 500 or more. So, and then it goes into your backpack. So we have $100 cash now and $800 watch. At $800 watch, you need to go to a shop to sell it. Then you will have some. Then we will have $900, and then you can buy some plates or something. So you're looking for something valuable, like these things: jumper cables, 40 bucks, battery, 50 bucks. At this moment in time, they have no use. Probably season 2, season 3 or something, they will come up with some sort of crafting system, which makes you use these things while you're going. Sort of like in the campaign, we saw in one mission where people picked up certain things. They found some liquid, they found a battery, they found some other stuff, electric tape, some wrench, and then they used it to make a bomb, for instance. That would be something that they could bring in. I'm assuming that's their idea, but this is only season 1, it's beta. These are the level 2 guys, I think, by the looks of it.
You can locate cash reward contracts on
Which means they have a little bit of a helmet. We have nothing. As you can see, they do strange things, right? They shoot you, they break your plate, then they run away, then they turn around, and then they actually down you. Because of course, again, we have no plates. And then it takes half an hour before he actually can finish you, because although it's a one-shot beamer to get you down, once you are down, they need like 6, 7, 8 shots to actually finish you. If they already finish you, sometimes you just time out and eventually die. So, those 3 examples that we just did here now, be aware, the AI can be very annoying. Okay, now, let's take it a bit more serious. Let's see if we can actually do one raid. That's gonna be a bit of a longer video. Sort of give you my idea and how the game works, and also showcase you a little bit. The key stash here, also here, be aware. So if you extract from the game, you have guns, you have keys. That's the only 2 things you will actually keep. The keys will go into a key stash. You have different keys in a way. You have the normal ones, which will open a locker, a toolbox, a door somewhere here and there. You might find one orange box, which is like the highest you can find with loot. Not that great. And then you have the ones which have an icon next to it. Those are more denied zones, which means they have tier 3 armored guys around, but you will find guys with riot shields as well will defend it, but you will find more orange boxes. For instance, the Al-Bagra underground here, it's a very good one. There are 15 to 20 orange boxes, I think, and they're only orange boxes. But yeah, you're gonna have to fight through a lot of tier 3. It's some sort of underground tunnel system under the prison, under the fortress. And there's only one way in and out. So you open that door with the key, you go in, and then you're gonna have to fight a lot of people in there, and then they will send reinforcement helicopters. So you will get more people in there on your way out as well. And you can sort of, if you always go right, you sort of go around, and then you come back out where you went in. If you survive that, you probably come out with some decent loot. There will be 3-plate vests for the whole team, there will be large backpacks for the whole team, a bunch of guns. Everybody will probably have 3 guns coming out of that. It's pretty good loot. You have the same on the airport, and you don't need a key for the airport. So, but that's of course also well known. Whoever spawns there closest to the airport, those 2-3 teams will probably clear it out by the time you ever get there from any other position on the map. It's a bit of a spawn luck, I guess. If you have the God spawn, which is directly next to the airport, then you can go immediately underground, which is not denied zone. There are 5 or 6 orange boxes. You can already gear up a little bit and get a bit of a loadout, and then you go upstairs. Once you open the door there, you will get the alarm for denied zone, and then everything is alerted. But there are also 15 more orange boxes up there. So airport is definitely the best loot without a key, and the Al-Bagra underground is probably the best loot with a key, because some of the others, like the art museum, they have 1 or 2 orange boxes. It's not even worth going there with a key. The Al-Bagra underground, on the other hand, it is. It says 20. The last I heard, there were 88 different keys. So why do we only have 20 here in this slot? Who knows? You can't even put in 20 because that's another bug. Then you cannot get into your missions. And that is because some of the missions reward you a key. So you can't get into that mission, because if you would finish that mission, it would gonna reward you a key and you don't have room for it. So always keep this at 19 of 20 or lower, otherwise you're gonna run into issues. The same goes for your weapons. In your contraband, never make this 10 out of 10, or in case you have the game 20 out of 20. It's also gonna cause you all kind of issues. When you come out with a gun, then it doesn't have any room, and then it's like giving you all kind of error messages and things like that. So also here, keep it at 9 out of 10 or 19 out of 10, just like with the keys. What I'm telling you here now might all be different tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the first season, mid-season update. Maybe they fixed some of these things already. Maybe they gave us 40 slots for keys instead of 20. Seen there are 88 keys. I believe it's warzonekeys.com. There is a website, you can find all that stuff. Or you can check on my Twitch. I I have some pictures from the keys. Let me see if I can find them quickly for you. Yeah, these are the Warzone key locations. These are not the ones with the icon. These are all the other ones. So you sort of have the northeast area where there are like 9 keys, and sort of where the locations are of those keys with the names of it. And then the Al Mazrah city and the surroundings, there are 20 keys around there next to the iconic keys. So yeah, there you can sort of find that. I'll put this in the description of the video if you want. So that's that, and you also have, let's see if I can find that. You can also go to mapgenie.io. There is also a COD version of that of the map. This is the normal version. You have V2 as well, which is a 3D map, a little bit more. And then you can have all kind of things. For instance, let's say those dead drop containers that I was talking to you about. You just type in dead drop, and it will only show you the dead drop containers. This is the one for based, the contract. This is custom hardware. This is Pathfinder, and also Medical Mule is this container. This one doesn't say anything, so there is a mission for here though. The Sarwana Hotel alley, and this is the quarry. So there are 6 of these dead drop containers where you can drop things to get your insured slot reduced. Or in case of certain missions, you actually have to go there to drop things in that container. And that's of course a tutorial to learn you where these containers are. There are, I think there's a mission for every single one of them where you have to do something, so that you learn the locations. As I said, the missions are in a way a tutorial of the game. And if you, let's say if we type in Fortress, no, it's only going to show the fortress. That doesn't work. So we might actually have to do this then. Click all these things which we don't need. There we go. And then you will see these Police Academy, US Embassy, Art Museum, Downtown Post Office, the Mawizet Resort, the oil tunnels, the Kushak Warehouse, Upper Caverns. These are sort of the icon keys. So what are we talking about then? If we look in our stash, those are these keys here, the one which have a little icon next to it. You can also find them on your map. That's why they are not on that key list locations. There are 13 of these, I believe, and then on that picture thing that I have there are 64, so that's 77. They're definitely not all keys yet. It's not up to date, because the last that I know is there are 88 or so. But I believe if you go look for it's either warzonekeys.com or dmzkeys.com. You will find a list with pictures and locations, and even a little video here and there to showcase you all of these keys. Some of them you need for missions, others are just there to get some better loot or whatever things are out there. Okay, let's do one more. But yeah, you need to figure it out. Like here, I had to open 3 saves in one deployment, which I did. I came out with 58,000, I think. You need to extract with 100,000. So obviously those 3 saves are not giving you enough money, so you need to do something else. You can do a nuclear contract, for instance. If you do 4 of them, you probably have 100k. And that's what I did yesterday. And I extracted with in total value 105,000 or something in my backpack. And as you can see, it's not checked off. It didn't count, because I extracted with about 80,000 cash and then some other items which were worth 25,000. That doesn't count, but there is nothing that tells here. So it's like, it's little things like that, right? They should say make it 100,000 cash here, and then you know it needs to be cash, which means that the 25,000 items value things that we had there, we had to go to a shop and sell them so that we actually extracted with 105,000. Then it would have worked probably. Unless it's also a bug, but I don't think so. It just didn't mention that it has to be cash. Things like that, yeah, you have to figure out by yourself very often. Or Google for it in case you get stuck on some of these things, because not having a tutorial and not having something to hold your hand, that's all fine. I'm all okay with it. As I said, 3,000 hours in Dark Up. I'm used to not having a game that holds your hand.
Enemy threat is high, so expect contact.
But of course, if it's not working or if you put wrong descriptions in your missions, then people obviously are gonna get stuck, right? If you say, if you have a mission where you need to... by the way, we had the T-spawn. You see a train, this is very good loot, but this is the T-spawn. You can sprint behind that train as fast as you want, you will not make it. You will just not make it. This is one of these buildings. It has some sort of bullets on the... You will find them in all kind of zones, you will find them. That's probably the best way to start your game. If you have nothing.
Exfil with those supplies in order to complete your active mission.
You find some field upgrades, you find some grenades, you find some vests, if you're lucky, a backpack, some valuable things as you can see. A couple of grenades. It also is a refill ammo on that side there somewhere. We're not very lucky at the moment. You can refill your ammo here if you want. Gas mask, a durable one even. They go twice as long as a normal one. And then you check that whole thing underground. There we go. 2-plate vest. Oh, 3-plate vest, even better. So this is the highest vest you can have. This is like the purple vest. You have 3 plates now. Now you can already take a little bit of a hit. You can bring in some extra gas masks if you want. There are certain missions where you have to extract with like 20 gas masks or something, which you can obviously not carry, so you're gonna have to do a few games. But I can fill up 5 slots here, for instance, with gas masks. If I do that 4 times, then I have 20 gas masks extracted. Let's check upstairs quickly. If we're lucky, we might find another backpack. The other places you want to look for is some sort of, there we go, self-revive. That's already good. We have an extra life now. Computers can have a GPU, but it's very rare. There is a GPU in the game, which is worth $16,000. So you're not gonna find it often. I think we found 5 or so with our team, and as I said, I'm playing about 200 hours, so they are not that common. And that's why, for instance, I am now stuck on this mission here, because I need to find one. I did the hard drives, I did the game consoles, I just need to find one GPU now. And then it needs to be dropped in a certain container on the other side of the map. So even if we do find one here, then we need to find a vehicle. There are several vehicles. You have boats, you have cars, there's a helicopter, ATVs or quads. Unlike in Warzone 1, you can not just keep driving around with them. They actually have fuel loss. But you can repair and fuel up gas stations. Or you can go into a gas station and pick up a gas can, and then you can fill them up on the road as well. Water, you can swim in the water, underwater. That's why we have, for instance, the water graphics on. You can see pretty good. If you have them off, it's pretty blurry underwater. It all depends a bit if your system can handle it. We'll talk about that in a second. We'll just run around a bit and see what goes on, what we can find. The map, obviously, something you need to learn a little bit. You'll get familiar with it. You will learn where the hospitals are to find self-revives and things like that. You can always get some height and then you can parachute out. I would advise you to put the auto deploy up of the in settings, because otherwise that thing doesn't open till like last second, and you wanna sometimes gold bar 8,000. Okay, we'll take that. So now you have some money, but seeing we have only a small backpack, unless I find a big one here. Not likely, but bathrooms. Always open them. They can have self-revives or stims or something which you could potentially use. Need to be careful on the stairs. Sometimes you will see a wire here. There's are booby traps. So you have to sort of look where the grenade is, and then you can hold F to defuse the grenade and then You will not lose your armor.
1-1. Exfil with those supplies to secure faction mission progress.
Like here, for instance, I have a light bulb now, which is one of those things that I need for my other mission, but I need to drop it on the other side of the map, so I'm not gonna pick that up. Pretty much checking the computers in the hope to find that one GPU. It's not likely though. We're probably gonna find it into a high value room or something. Okay, let's see what goes on. We have a Ford Escort here somewhere. This, for instance, the blue wall, sorta, half blue wall. Those are the hospitals.
1-1. We need those objectives to secure mission progress. Move to extraction.
So, if you go upstairs here, you will find 5 or 6 of those medical cabinets. So in the hospital there's always a good chance that you're gonna find gas mask, self-revive pistol. There we go. This one you need to equip. It does not work from your backpack. Which means now we have to drop something, because otherwise we lose our ammo box. Here's another one. There's still some idiots around here because we only killed 2. They always come in 4 or 5 of these AIs. Just keep that in mind as well. Don't know where they went, but I heard them. So one point or another we're gonna have to take care of them. So when it comes to self-revives, you have this one here, is a self-revive kit. It works from your loadout. You can hold one. You can hold extra ones in your backpack. It will first take the ones out of your backpack, I think. If you go down, it will instantly use this. The pistol, if you put that in your backpack, it will not work. You need to put it in your field upgrade, and then it will work. You can either use it on yourself, or you can use it as a pistol and shoot to your teammate in case he's, for instance, down in that corner there. Then you can revive him that way. So yeah, there is a bit of a difference on these two. And usually around these hospitals you will find an ambulance that will also have one of those medical cabinets in it. And the house next to it usually as well. Some more AI there. These are electric charging points. There is a Hummer EV on the map. That's why you need to refuel that thing. Well, not refuel, recharge it, I should say. That's the building next door, also has 2 of these, so then you already have like 7 or 8 of these medical cabinets. Good chance you're gonna find a self-revive on these things. Other than that, you can loot whatever you want in every single house. Stronghold keycard. Not really needed actually. There is a car here somewhere. Not the fastest thing in town. It's not an Escort RS Corsa. It's probably a 1.3 engine or something. And as you can see, it has some fuel economy going. If that green bar there goes into red, then you run out of fuel, which means you either need to be close to a gas station. They all drive like a truck though. I already have my vehicle sensitivity at 1.2, but they still turn like some heavy truck. We're in a war zone, so fuel is always very something that they need to protect by the looks of it. Here we have the bolt shotgun guy. But these are the level 1s, as you can see. They're as dumb as hell. They do all kinds of stuff. They can shoot you out of that car though. So while that car is standing here, I'm gonna throw all kind of grenades at you. But you can see it's refueling and repairing. So it will repair your vehicle. But you can also take the fuel. Some cash register. 2 more medical cabinets, so always also another chance to find self revives or whatnot. Other than that, for some reason or another, the gas station is full of grenades. All kind of grenades around. Meanwhile, our car is repaired and filled up while we were doing some shopping there. Police station also full of computers. Chance of finding my GPU. But now we can drive, for instance, into the desert. And let's say we're out of fuel here. I can just open my backpack. I can left click in here on this gas can and say, no, refuel it. Then it will use the fuel. And your car is full again. The same, if you have a flat tire, you can interact with that tire and you can repair it. The rest of the damage, bodywork, you cannot repair, but you can repair flat tires and you can fill it up with gas cans. And that goes for most of the vehicles. With a helicopter, you just need to hang over gas stations, whether that's one for cars or for boats. We also have stations on the water for the boats. In the helicopter, you can get fuel all over these stations. There is a train on the map. I think it does like 2 rotations. For some reason or another. This is the tier 3s. So you have to break their armor or drive them over with the car, as you can see. But you have to break that helmet, otherwise you will not be able to get them down very quickly. As you can see, that guy is still alive. I just broke his helmet. Here is his boss. They love to throw smoke grenades, these guys. Which actually work, because then you don't see where they are. This is a stronghold, for instance. But we didn't pick up that key earlier, I think. No. So I cannot open this door. At least not in theory. You can put yourself here if you have a teammate and he drives into you with an ATV, then you're inside. Then you can unlock the door from inside. One of these glitches. I don't know if it's fixed yet, I don't think so. It's a bit risky though, because there might be a shield guy there. I had it with a teammate once. I pushed him in and he got shot inside before he could unlock the door, which means I couldn't get to him anymore. But you see the difference? This is just the difference, like, if I'm running around here with a suppressed gun, that guy would not even shoot me. Just the fact that I don't have a suppressed gun, he starts immediately beaming me. And seeing we made some noise now, we're gonna get the whole bloody AI map over us now. That's the difference with having a suppressed gun or a non-suppressed gun. And as you can see, these keys here, you can find all over the place in duffel bags. Some of the bosses are dropping it. Well, bosses, cartel bosses or whatever they are. That's like one of those armored guys, but then it has like a bit of a sporty blue overall. That guy usually surrounded by 5 or 6 of the other armored guys. If you get him down, that's sort of cartel boss. Okay, we have to reload again. Just wait till it comes behind the corner. These level 1s are not the brightest around. Let's put it that way. I let them kill me earlier in the previous games a couple of times, but they pretty much do every time the same thing. Now, here we go. We got a stronghold key. Let's go. And now we can, in theory, could go back to that thing.
Ultra One, activity has increased in the area. Keep your eyes open.
We know the, but of course you can kill a few through the windows. And there we go. And that's what I mean with the pisspot contraband weapon. You're not really fighting these guys because they have 60 round mags or whatever. And you have to constantly reload. That guy dead? Yes. Okay. Finally broke his helmet. But we are fighting here with, although the Kastov 74U is not even that bad for being an AI weapon. It's of course also broken as hell that you can shoot these fools from outside before you even open the door.
Ultra One, we're seeing increased activity in the area. Stay sharp.
We're still gonna run into some idiots though. So, oh, it requires a contract, this one. I thought it was a stronghold. So this is probably a hostage situation. Let me have a look. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up this thing. The hostage will probably be here. This is one of those contracts where you can actually get a private helicopter to get out. We already killed the guards. We have some level 2s here. And as you can see, they duplicate. They're still very deadly though. You down them, make sure you finish them because even crawling over the ground, they can still get you down. I think it's gonna be there. Yeah. It's indeed gonna be there.
Ultra One, you're approaching the target now. Locate and secure.
We already killed a few guards here, so that will save us some trouble. There is a hostage in here. As soon as we open this door, a timer will go. We need to defuse the bomb because he has a bomb vest on.
Ultra One, actual. The hostage is wired with explosives.
This guy just spawned in here out of nowhere. And see, we have no plates again. Here we go. We are dropping on a few booby traps here and we're obviously down. Let's put on some plates that we just picked up now. There he is. We quickly have to defuse this bomb now.
Thank you.
Okay, he's safe.
Ultra One, explosives disarmed. Proceed to an extract point with the hostage. Ultra One, exfil helo is inbound. Get that hostage to the designated LZ.
I'm gonna have to pick some guns up from these guys here, although we have bullets, I think. Because we're using two ARs, we are running out of bullets very quickly. But it's what you need to do, because all of the AIs are running around with ARs. So the last thing you want to do is run around with an SMG, because you will not get any bullets from them. At all. Okay, so we cleared this whole field. Now you pick up our mate. And then you just need to get him to the helicopter. Now, there are two options here. Be aware, once you are carrying this guy, you can't drop him. You can't shoot, you have to drop him when you want to shoot. I think a pistol works though. If you have a pistol as a secondary, which we don't. And now we have our private helicopter, which does not show up, yeah, you can see it here, but it doesn't show up on the map as an extraction for other people. So you can go into this chopper, you can drop this guy and extract with him. So it is your private extraction in a way. Or you can just say like, nah, it's fine. You just drop him, you get out, And there we go. And the
Ultra
contract
One,
is
Exfil
complete.
is RTB with the hostage. Processing payment now.
This is one of these extractions, potentially. So, you have the circle here, with a 25-minute clock on it. And you have an extract over here, and you have one over here, which are the blue things on the map. Once this circle starts expanding, you will see that these two here, they will be very quickly in the gas, because once it starts expanding, it goes very quickly. So our extraction is over here. This is the one we want. You can extract at any point, after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whenever you want. Once the 25 minutes are up, this circle is going to expand all over the map. And these two are immediately going to be out, so they're a no-go anymore. Then everybody has to come to this one. But even this one will eventually get into the gas. And then a fourth one will open, which you do not see. You don't know where it is. The only thing you know is it's usually far away from the gas. So it's going to be here somewhere on that area. It will open, and that's the final one. It has a 2-minute counter on there. It will not go anywhere until the time is up. These guys, as soon as you get in the helicopter, it will go to a 5-second countdown. 5 seconds later you are out. The final extraction has a 2-minute on it, and it will not go anywhere until those 2 minutes are, until the time on the map is basically up. You can see the map there on the mini-map on my left with the clock underneath, 3:30. So in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, the 25 minutes are up and the gas will actually start expanding. Which means we're gonna have to extract. We could have gone with that chopper there. That is like the 5th extraction in a way. You can always do one of these hostage contracts, and instead of just dropping him up there, you can take a ride along with him, which doesn't show on the map. Because the other 3, as I just showed you, those blue things, they do show on the map. And it takes a bit before the helicopter, you call it in, and before it shows up, it takes a bit. This one is actually on the roof. Which is not very great, to be honest. So there are so many roofs around here. See the green flare? That means that somebody has called the helicopter. Now, you can wait and let them go. That's one option. Which is not a good option, as you can see. Because then you get shot by these campers which are sitting on the roofs. The other option, what I was trying to show you, is take that cable up there and go to the highest roof. And then you can jump on the helicopter. So there is a team in the helicopter. If I would have made it to that high roof, he calls in the helicopter, he brings it. But there was a perfect example of the non-audio from behind you. Didn't hear him. Yeah, we heard him shooting, but that's too late, and then you're already down. This guy is running up the stairs, you have no audio from behind. And then that thing is rewarded, or award for some game award for audio. I find that a joke, basically. What you could do here, so he called the helicopter, he goes inside the helicopter. You just let him go in. The helicopter will start taking off, and if we would have made it to that highest roof, we could have just jumped on top of the helicopter. And then you have 2 teams. The guy inside has no idea that I'm on top of the helicopter. He will not hear that because, you know, no audio in this game. So then you can extract with 2 different teams, although you're not shooting each other. You don't even know. Obviously, the one on top knows that there is a team inside, but the one inside they have no idea that there is another team on top of the helicopter. So you can extract with 2 teams with 1 helicopter. The other option is you just wait till this guy gets off with the helicopter, and then about 15 seconds later or something, the exfil shows up again, and you can call it a new helicopter. That's also an option. But yeah, once again, we got shot by the no audio behind you. There is an option in a way. Sometimes you have these shield, riot shield boys. If you throw a thermite to them, they drop the riot shield for a few seconds. And if you're quick enough, you can actually loot it. And then you can put that riot shield as your secondary. And that means that it puts it on your back. So then you have a riot shield on your back and a gun in your hand. Then you can't be surprised from behind, although there is no audio, because they will shoot the riot shield and that will actually stop quite a lot of bullets. Some extra protection, but that's a lot of, then you need to do a stronghold or something where you find riot shield AI. And then you need to time it perfectly that in those 2-3 seconds that he drops the riot shield after you throw a thermite onto it, then you can quickly grab it. But I'm assuming that's a bug. You're not supposed to pick up that riot shield. And if you do use it in front of you as your main primary weapon, you will often see people no idea what they're doing because they do not expect a player to have a riot shield in their hand. But that's like the only solution at this moment in time, which defends you a little bit from behind, because it's quite hard. The AI is spreading left, back and center in front of you. You're in the middle of a fight constantly, you're shooting. There's a guy right behind you, you do not hear him. Not a single click. Sometimes he just climbed up on metal stairs right behind you. You do not hear the metal. Nothing. Yesterday I had one of those days where, I don't know, I think I streamed for 4 hours on Twitch. It was one of those days where I think I did like 10 raids. And out of those 10 raids, every time that I died, I was from behind. Audio from behind. Which is non-existent, and then, yeah. It's pretty hard to defend yourself from... you can constantly do 180s to see if there's somebody behind you. But sometimes, that's the other thing, you have some complete random spawns from the AI. So you check behind and you think it's clear, there's nobody there. You turn 180 back to the front and you suddenly get shot in the back because there's a guy spawning behind you, which you do not hear. So yeah, I'm not so sure what the best strategy is to play this mode, but I think it's constantly be on the move and don't stand still for 1 second, which is a bit of a problem because sometimes you have to if you on a buy station or something. Yeah, you need to sell stuff, you need to buy stuff, you're gonna stand still there for a few seconds. If then an AI spawns right behind you, because the AIs are campers as well. In Warzone 1 you had people camping in buildings in the final circle or something. Yeah, here the AI does it for them. If you go to a buy station, the AI is camping it, and they're usually level 2 or level 3 AI. So you cannot just chill and go to a shop and buy some plates or something. No. You buy some plates, you put them on, and you get shot by AI while you're shopping. So yeah, there's definitely some work here. One very simple solution would be to put shops inside buildings, for instance. Like in the city, that is, if you put a shop there very often on a square or something, it's pretty much in the open. You're surrounded by 6, 7, 8, 9 buildings. AI is shooting at you. Some players, snipers on top of. Going to the shop is a risk here. But seeing you cannot find any plates anywhere, the AI are barely dropping any plates. You have to go to a shop to buy plates because you're constantly out. It's a plate simulator. Simple solution for that, in my opinion, is give us a vest with durability. 100% durability. If you get shot a couple of times, you lose some percentages. If your vest is 25-30%, you're gonna have to find another vest. But that gives you some time to find another vest. Would also give you a reason to, for instance, put it in your backpack and stock it up. In case you're like 30-40%, you throw away your vest and you put the one from your backpack on. That would have some purpose, but this plate simulator is... We go down here now again. Eventually we found a 3-plate vest here now in a couple of raids that I quickly showed here. But that's what you need. You need that every game. If you with the 1 plate and the 2-plate vest, they're worth nothing. You're always surrounded by 4 or 5 AI, they immediately break your plates. If you then have that guy with no audio behind you showing up, you're down. And if you don't have a self-revive, it's game over. Plates and self-revives are the most important thing in this game. Seeing you're surrounded by AI and other players. In this case we got shot by another player just before we extracted. The AIs, yeah, that's okay. You can, once you figure out how they work, the level 1s are pretty stupid. The level 2s, if you break that helmet, they go down pretty quickly. Level 3s are a bit harder, but if you break their helmet, like on that hostage situation there, we had a couple of level 3s. We eventually got them down, so... and they're usually groups of 4 or 5. If you mow them all down, then they send in some extra troops and then helicopters. It's some sort of anti-camping device, I think. If you stay too long in the same place, let's say in a certain house, you're gonna get surrounded. Together with my teammate, we were not even doing a mission or a contract. We went to a certain place, certain little town, city, village, whatever you want to call it. Just trying to get out of that village, we killed 121 AIs. And it was like, I think it was on the port there somewhere. So east of the port, that little village there. 121. Just, we're not doing missions, we were not doing contracts. We just, we were looting a little bit and wanted to go to a shop there. We got surrounded. It were like all kind of buildings. You opened the door, there was another AI. You went to the route, there was an armored truck or a helicopters coming in with reinforcements. We had to run to that shop constantly to buy ammo boxes to have more ammo. 121 just to get out of that city. And that was just because we stayed like a little bit too long in that one place. Because we were doing some shopping and so we stayed, let's say, a minute or two in that village. And then the AI sort of goes into over mode and then 121. Which means you need a lot of plates and a lot of bullets. So we were constantly shooting some AI. They didn't drop any plates, barely dropped any ammo. So we're constantly running to that shop, buying plates, putting plates on, shooting more AI. Back to the shop, buying ammo, buying plates, and yeah, it was like, we pretty much, that was a whole game. We shot 121 AI, the 25 minutes were over, and we eventually extracted and got out of that village. But that's like, yeah, that's just bullshit. They just keep spawning. If you stay in one place, they keep spawning and they're surrounding the whole village, and you need to kill over 100 AI just to get out of that town. Keep it a little bit divided a little bit. While in other times, especially when you play with a suppressed weapon, you take out what I call the 4 fools on the gas station, and you can see for the next 15 minutes you can see no AI or players. Huh? That's the difference between loud and suppressed in this game. They need to find some balance in that, because in both scenarios it's a bit overdone. In one game it's very too quiet, let's put it that way, and in the other game it's just, there's too much AI spawning in all over the place. And I do say all over the place because they can spawn in the middle of the sky sometimes. You're getting shot and you're looking around 360 degrees around you, you don't see anything. They're hanging 10 feet in the air. That's where they spawn in. Obviously those are bugs, but they're very annoying bugs because they can get you down, you lose all your gear and you're stuck for 2 hours. You cannot use your own gun because of a guy spawning in the middle of the air. That's sort of my vision on DMZ at the moment. It's one of those games, or game modes in this case, where you can say, okay, it's good, you can have some fun with friends, it's pretty casual. And then you have the famous words, it has potential. Which usually is not a good thing that you have to say that about a game that they have released, or a game mode in this case. It has potential, but many things need to change though. They need to come up with some sort of economy system that the money actually has value instead of just buying some time. My personal opinion, get rid of that in short slot and give us a loadout instead. There is enough AI to justify your own guns. There is enough other players to justify your own guns. This bullshit with this 2-hour slot, and then because the contraband, whatever you have been sitting in here, it's crap. It's crap compared to what you have here. So, and this thing you can only use every 2 hours when you die. It's stupid. It's a stupid system. Let people use their own guns. They're grinding for hours to upgrade these guns and you can't use them. Once every 2 hours you can do one run. Or maybe 2 or 3 till you die and then you're stuck for 2 hours. Unless you do a super loot run and then buy all your time back. It is so stupid. Get rid of it. Give people a loadout and let them have fun in DMZ with their own guns. Just like you could in Plunder in Warzone 1. Keep it simple. You don't need to make it more hardcore for a casual mode like this. You're not gonna appeal or attract the Tarkov players because this is way too super light for a Tarkov player. Tarkov player is used to hardcore realism aspects. They have markets, they have their own guns. They have to build their own guns from scratch and not just 5 attachments. No. You have to build the pistol with a trigger. You have to buy the trigger. You have to buy bullets one by one. Every bullet is worth 1,000 or whatever. Here you get a whole ammo box for $1,000. In Tarkov, bullets are going for 1,000, 1,200 for one round. Then, ammo is important. If every bullet counts, but not if you can buy ammo boxes for $1,000 on a shop here. So it is not Tarkov. Then also you don't need to make it. Keep it casual. Give people a loadout. Some aspects are too casual. Others they try to sort of make it less casual, but it's not working. Like that stupidity with the plates. It's like there's too much AI on that map that you need to get a durability vest or something instead of this plate system, which doesn't work because you're running. You can't put on plates while you're running. In this game, it's still not a thing. Which means that your guy is running and suddenly he stops like, okay, middle of the road, putting on a plate while there are 6 AI shooting from all kind of angles. And also give us some sort of inventory that whatever we bring out in that backpack that it has some value. Now you just lose it. It's converted into XP for your stupid level here. Who cares if you're prestige 2 or 3 or 4 or 10? Nobody cares. Yeah, unless the sweaties who want to get like maximum level every season or whatever. But nobody cares, you know, it's like level is something that nobody cares about. So give us instead of a slot here, just like the keys, you know, give us a little inventory where we can, let's say, hold 3 vests and 3 backpacks, and it doesn't need to be 500 items in here, but just make something valuable from that backpack. They give us a backpack, you extract with a backpack and everything gets out. Just vanishes and it's converted into XP which nobody cares for. We'll see. Hopefully they bring up some sort of inventory system and not only for keys and guns. And hopefully they let us use our own weapons. This mode would work if you can use your own weapons. But with this contraband, yeah. Your iron sight ache. And that's the other thing. We're playing for like a month now. That is still the same as day one. The ground loot is still the same. It's always the Castop 74U, the RPK, the LMS, and the shotgun that the AI are running around with. And a couple of M4s. You have to upgrade a bunch of weapons, especially with these new gun trees that you have figured out now. You have to play with 5 guns to get attachments for 1 gun. So it's like, let us play with them then. They're not on the map, so you have to put them in your insured slot. You can play for it, you have a bit bad luck, you die, you're stuck for 2 hours. You can't upgrade your gun anymore. That's stupid design. That's not thought of. That's not like... in a way it replaces Plunder. And Plunder you had your own loadout. DMZ doesn't have your own gun. That's in my opinion just stupid. And I'm pretty sure the casuals will start crying now like, yeah, because they don't want to run into people who have 2 good guns. But it's gonna happen anyway. A grinder will always have good guns. And they play in team, they don't die that much, they extract every time, they will have their guns all the time. You're gonna keep running into them anyway. So there's only one solution, time and effort. Put some time and effort in it, it doesn't need to take that long. Play 3 weekends just focusing on upgrading your guns and you will have your own good guns as well. So that's not a problem. That is just, yeah, people crying about everything what they want to cry about when it comes to that. Not like you, it's not like in Tarkov where you need to play 6 months to even understand what is going on in that game with the hideout and the crafting and all the quests and learning where those keys are and where those doors are and where the extractions are to begin with, because you don't have a map there. You need 6 months to learn that game. In this game you don't, you run around a few days, you know this map inside out. Other than that, you can upgrade your weapons, but let us play with our weapons, We're a month into the game and the ground loot is still the same, and the AI are running with the same 4 or 5 guns. There are way more than 5 guns in this game, but you can't upgrade them because you can't find them anywhere. It's a bit weird. Anyway, that's sort of my take on DMZ at the moment. Seeing it was end wipe in Tarkov, it came at the right time so that we could check it out, and that's what many people did, I think. But it also shows on the numbers, for instance, on Steam. The first week, 550,000 players on Steam. People had checked it out. It was a bit too buggy, it was a bit too light, especially for a Tarkov player. Warzone players, they checked it out, some liked it, some didn't, went back to Battle Royale. Result of that is now 1 month into the game, 220, 280,000, somewhere in between that. Let's say 250,000 people are playing it on Steam. The first week, 550,000. So the Steam community sort of is already halved. Obviously, there are some reasons for that, Activision. You should think about that. Armor plates, no good. Money has no value, that's no good. Give it a value. And things like that. And extracting with stuff, you should be rewarded, right? You survived the game that rate. You should be rewarded with what, at least, or keep the items that were in your backpack, or at least a few of them. Now you just lose them. They're converted into XP where nobody cares for. We'll see. Tomorrow is the mid-season update for Season 1. Hopefully they address some of these things. Hopefully they made changes. It is a beta after all, so you can expect every patch or update to get some changes. Season 2, February 1st, we're probably going to get some more and major changes. There are already rumors of a new map. If you go to the side of the map, you look on the ocean, you see a little island there in the distance with a castle on it. At this moment you can't go there. If you try to go there with a boat or just swim there, you will go at a certain moment out of map before you even get anywhere close to that island. At some point, maybe that's the new Resurgence or Rebirth map, or who knows. It's out there already. We will see. As for now, we'll leave it at this. Sort of a quick view and my thoughts on this. Something fun, casual to play with. It's definitely not Tarkov. At best, a super light version of it. And not even. So don't compare it with Tarkov. Just compare it with nothing and play it as it is. Tarkov is Tarkov, the cycle is the cycle, Division Dark Zone is Division. This is DMZ. It definitely needs some changes, but it has potential. As they say, which usually is not a good thing if that you have to say that, but we'll see. Changes might make it better over time. We'll mess around a bit. One of the next days, Tarkov is going to wipe level 1 everybody again with the first iteration. It's probably one of the major patches of the last months and years for that game, with the first iteration of the Streets map, which is the 9th map of that game that we're getting, and it's also the biggest one. So that's going to come in different parts, and that also means there will be different patches in 2023, expanding that map more and more, bringing in the bosses of that map. Later on it will be Terminal, that's the 10th map, and then there are 2 more maps coming, Suburb and Town, later on, which will be DLC. If you have the highest version of the game, the DLC maps will be free. But the DLC will be after the official release of the game, which will be, I don't know, 2024, I guess. So, we have that. We're gonna mix it up. From the moment when Tarkov wipes, we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna play a little bit of this, a bit more casual with my friends who don't play that much Tarkov or don't play it at all because they find it too hard. So we're probably mainly soloing Tarkov, probably. We need to see. Last wipe I played with some American friends, but they have been making some changes, grouping the servers all over the world. We'll have to see if we can still connect to them or not. And then we mix it up. Bit of DMZ from time to time, and then the rest, Tarkov. That's sort of RaceMasterDave on Twitch. What we will be doing there for the next couple of weeks and months probably, because I had a look at Need for Speed Unbound. No thanks. It's a bit too cartoonish. Cartoon characters, cartoon smoke, and tire smoke and whatnot. I don't know. It's too cartoonish for me. So this is another one in the series of Need for Speed, which is not great if you look at it from that aspect. So other than that, who knows? Somewhere next year should be TDU Solar Crown. That's something we will definitely cover. We were ready for that. Normally was September, October this year, but they postponed it till 2023, as many games in this COVID period and such are very often postponed. It was no different for TDU. So we'll have a look at that, maybe Dirt Rally 3.0 whenever that comes out. WRC Generations, no, thank you. Was also the more of the same, WRC 8, 9, 10. And now we have Generations, which is pretty much more of the same. So also that we skipped. That for Speed we will skip as well. So we'll miss, for this upcoming months, we will keep it at some Tarkov and some DMZ. Especially if they bring new faction, new missions, we will keep playing this as well. On the side a little bit more. Focus will be more on Tarkov on the channel. We will see. As for now, thanks for watching. Bye bye.